Hello, everyone. My name is Mark Kageyama, and I'd like to welcome everyone here to Be Your Own Hero. And I am a stage 4 cancer patient with prostate, bone, and lung cancer. And what I usually do is give a health update and tell people how I'm doing. And I don't really have any health updates at this time. Things are going well and things are progressing. But I do have a story to share with everyone that happened to me this past weekend. I was at church on Saturday at 5 o'clock, and towards the end of the service, all of a sudden I looked up and there were police coming in the church. And I thought, what in the world is going on? And so they had us evacuate towards the back of the church. And we finished the service in the parking lot. I looked up and there were police everywhere, absolutely everywhere. And they said that there was a box in the front of the church that they suspected was a bomb. So everybody left. And I've never seen the parking lot clear out so fast. And I happened to be talking to my mom a couple days later, and I said, man, there is no way that after all I've been through, fighting cancer day in, day out for the past almost 2 years now, there was no way that all of a sudden I'm going to get blown up by somebody putting a bomb there. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. So I am so thrilled to be here in one piece to share this interview with an amazing, amazing guest. And her name is Suzanna Webb. And what I'd like to do is bring Susanna on at this time. Please introduce yourself. And we're going to be talking about somebody very, very special to you. So Susanna, please
Hi.
Introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name's Susanna Webb, and thank you, Mark, for having me on your show. I'm so excited to be here. I don't know what you want me to say. I'm an author, a motivational speaker, and I'm excited to share my story today.
Thank you so much. So why don't we get into the story and share about somebody very, very special to you. So the floor is yours, Susanna.
Thank you. So it all started when my son was born. Maybe a year after he was born, he would get sick really often and be around his little cousins, and they had a little sniffle here and there, and he would get fevers. And I'd take him to a play area and he'd get another fever. And one time we were going on a cruise with my family or scheduled to, and he got really sick, and we took him to the doctor, and they just said, oh, he has a flu. And so we had to cancel. I let my daughters go with my family, but him and I couldn't go. So I just didn't want to be, I wanted to be safe and make sure he wasn't even more sick on the cruise, So we had to skip that. And couple months later, he same thing, kind of got the flu again, and we took him in to the doctor, and they said he's dehydrated, so they had to give him an IV and hydrate him. And he was about 1.5 years at that point, maybe almost 2. I think it was like 2 and a few months. So then he got some bruises. Like, he would have bruises, like little pink and brown bruises and some blue bruises on his legs. And this little guy, he's wild. So he's, ever since he could crawl, he was all over the place. So very hyperactive. And I asked the doctor, hey, he gets sick often. He has these bruises. Can you, what's going on? Oh, he's just active. He's fine. He's good. Look at his energy. He's doing great, Okay. So then one day, I was changing his diaper, and I saw a lump on the back of his leg. And I said, oh my gosh, it scared the living crap out of me. Sorry. But the living crud out of me. And so I, took him in right away to the doctor, and I said, okay, look, he's had bruising. He's had flu-like symptoms. He had to be hydrated. He couldn't, he gets sick every time we go places, all of these things. And there has, you have to check him out. Now he has a lump. I need you to check him out thoroughly. And so she said, okay, we'll do blood work. And if you don't hear from me, everything's fine. So no news is good news. So, okay, sounds good. We got his blood checked the next day. And, about an hour after, my girls and I came home with him, and they're playing, and I'm hoping the doctor doesn't call me, but I'm still kind of waiting to see, checking on the Kaiser app, making to see his labs. Hey, has anything come through? I don't even know what I'm looking for, but I'm still looking for something. So and that's when I got the call, and the doctor said, we got his blood results back, and you need to pack a bag for you and him, and you need to come here as quick as possible, and you need to be transported to Los Angeles, Kaiser, and he needs immediate attention. And at that point, I'm just so scared, and I'm just shaking. I just don't even know what to think, and I'm just praying and just okay, packing a bag. And I have 2 older daughters, so they start helping me pack bags, and what do you need, and just helping. And my other daughter just starts crying, he's fine, I'm playing with him, he's fine, what do you mean? And I said, honey, I don't know what's wrong with him. He has a lump. We need to check it out. We need to just have him thoroughly checked out. That's all they need to do. And so that's how it started. We went to the doctor, and immediately we were transported by ambulance to LA.
Wow. So did you know at that particular time what the diagnosis was, or you were going to see that?
So when I was putting my son Levi in the gurney, they put his high chair in there, gave him a little teddy bear, and put him on the gurney. They took my husband at the time, they took him aside, the doctor did, and mentioned to him it could be leukemia. But honestly, I don't remember him sharing that information with me. So it was a complete shock to me when I actually found out a few days later with his blood results and that in the hospital.
So what went through your mind at that time when you did get the results?
So, when the doctor, came in, and, because it could be a million different things. Okay, a lump doesn't, because when the doctor checked out, she said, it's just fatty tissue. It's not anything. So honestly, I thought we were going to be checked out for his lump. And I didn't really think it could be a blood cancer or blood anything. So the doctor came in, and he just said, you need to sit down. And so when someone tells you to sit down, you realize, okay, this is going to change my life forever, and at that point I'm like, no, I don't want to sit down. I don't want to hear any of this, and I'm smiling now just because, it's been a while, but it's the scariest thing that anyone will ever have to go through. Especially, I think it's a little different when it's you that the doctor's telling you, okay, you're sick. You're like, all right, I can handle this, maybe, hopefully. But when it's your child, it's just completely different. That's your life, that's your baby. And I get really emotional. So, sorry, but you just know when you hear cancer that there's a lot of pain that's going to come with it. And, a lot of things that they're going to be forced to do. And you just want to take away their pain. So that's why I think it's so difficult as a parent to hear that.
So what were you most scared of? I mean, it's one thing, as you say, to, be told directly, hey, you have cancer. But when it's somebody so young and so tender and so frail, that's got to be a totally different situation. I can't even imagine that. I can't even imagine, because I have 2 daughters, and I'm so thankful that they're healthy and they're doing well. But to have your child, the person that you brought into this world, affected in this way, oh my goodness, I just can't even imagine that. So
Right.
you have to develop strength beyond, you know, your capabilities, and so I can't even imagine that.
Right. So to answer your question, the scariest thing, the most thing I was scared of was losing my son. And then the second most thing is, you know, him going through all the suffering, and that's hard to swallow.
Absolutely.
And then for my other children as well, I'm sorry, I get like really emotional about all of this, but you know, it's hard for them also, and it's still hard at this moment. You know, it's still, they still have to go through a lot of emotional pain too, suffering through everything.
So how did they handle it? I mean, you at that point, you have to be the rock, and you have to be the one who, you know, is the leader because you're the mom.
Right.
I that's got to be so difficult to, you know, put on the happy face for your other kids, you know, to not let them know that you're so devastated and so worried.
Right. So honestly, it was harder. It was more difficult to tell my daughters about my son than to tell him, because he's little. He's only 2.5 at the time. So the family specialists, they came in and explained to Levi that his blood is sick. And at 2.5, he's just like, okay, you know, I know what sick is, you know, you get sick, that's fine. So you didn't have to say much. We just said, you know, every time you needed to take medication, okay, you need to take it so your blood can get better, you know, and we can play, you know, because that's all he wants to do still. But my daughters, they know what cancer is. And in fact, we've lost several family members to cancer. And my aunt, she had sarcoma cancer, and she was diagnosed, or she lived only 9 months after her diagnosis. And so, and that, you know, is devastating. And also, like, a year before my son was diagnosed, I lost my cousin, who was actually like a brother to me because my parents raised him. So they understand loss. And so, you know, like, explaining it to them, it was really hard. And I had to, you know, they were staying with my parents and my brother and my sister-in-law at the time, just for like that week that we were in the hospital with Levi, just trying to figure everything out. And so I kind of, you know, when the doctor did tell us, I told my parents, but I also said, don't tell them yet, you know, maybe ease them into it, let them know it could be cancer, it could be, you know, something else, or it could be something even easier or more difficult. Like, we don't know. So, and so when I did tell them what it was, I think my mom or my sister-in-law told them, but when I got to speak to them, I let them know. They got to come visit, and I just said, hey, guess what? Yes, it's leukemia, but it has a 94% survival rate. So he's in great hands. The doctor even mentioned that he's not even going to remember a thing. By the time he's done, he'll be, you know, he won't even remember. And to be honest, he's forgetting something. So I'm really happy about that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the hidden blessing of the whole
Yes.
thing. But how old are your daughters in relationship to Levi?
So my oldest she was 12 when he was born, and then my middle child, she was 8 when he was born.
So they know, they understand. They're old.
They've been through.
Wow.
I'm half Mexican and half white. So I have a really large family. I'm really grateful for them. So we've had a lot of funerals and you know, and so, like I said, not just cancer, but they understand what loss means. And so to lose like your baby brother. That's hard.
Wow. Cancer is just such a difficult situation. It's so complex, and it's different for every single person. And that's part of the problem with treatments and everything like that, is because, there's no one size fits all. It's everybody is so different. Everybody gets all these different kind of cancers. And that's part of the problem that I see with the medical field is they don't have enough time to give the compassion and the empathy to deal with all these different situations, because everybody's situation is so unique. And so
Everyone's journey is different, and that's what I
yes,
just have to tell everyone when I hear they ask, oh, what did you do at this point, or what, it's like everyone's journey is different, and yours will be different too, and I hope it's much quicker and easier and all of those things, and if I can help anyone out with their journey to be easier, that's what I'm going to do.
awesome, absolutely awesome. So please share with us the progression of what happened with Levi moving forward. He gets diagnosed. So how did things play out as far as that goes?
Sorry, we have an ice maker over here. So with Levi, there was the doctor let us know, okay, this is the plan. So there's 5 phases. There's induction, and where he was on steroids, and he just steroids are a beast. He was just couldn't even walk after a month. He got really chubby, and he was just miserable, and was just just didn't want to do much of anything. And he had to learn how to walk after a month of that medication, and along with the 20 other medications he was taking a day. And he also had a PICC line. And I don't think I mentioned this before, but he after about, I think he was almost done with the induction part. It was about a month and a week or so. And his hand got really puffy, like swollen. And so we were on our way to the doctor anyway. And I said, hey, this is an emergency. Like, you need to check this out. And he had gotten a blood clot from the PICC line. So we had to go get an ultrasound right away. And the ultrasound tech said, yes, there's a blood clot. So we actually had to, within a couple weeks, had it removed. But with the blood clot, we had to give him shots in his legs for 3 months in order to, get rid of the blood clot. So it was just like 20 medications a day with 3 or 2 shots a day. It was just like this poor baby, couldn't catch a break. And, then the next phase was like, he had to get lumbar punctures in his spine, be sedated, and for like a whole month, like once a week for a whole month. And then, so there's several different phases. He finally got to the maintenance phase, which is about 9-10 months into all the phases. And maintenance is when kids with leukemia get to go back to school. And so that was really exciting for us. Like, okay, yay, we get to go back to normal. That was kind of like, yay, we reached the finish line, And so we were getting back to normal. Then about 7 months into it, he relapsed. And so doctor said, a bone marrow transplant is pretty much the only way to go after this when it's so aggressive. So we got through that, and it's been a little bit over a year since his bone marrow transplant.
Fantastic. Wow. Poor kid. He's been through so much. Oh my goodness.
And you wouldn't even know it. He's just so brave, and he just wants to play and have a good time. And if you want to see positivity, you just be near him and you just see it.
Well, he gets that from his mom.
Aw, thank you.
Absolutely. So
runs in the family.
That's awesome. I love that. So can you share with us some of the things that have happened along the way? And I'm thinking as far as, the Make-A-Wish, if you could talk about that. I love that.
Yeah, sure. There are so many organizations that, help out. We actually, if I can add to that, he had his third birthday after his, or I think it was his fourth birthday we got to celebrate. And there's another company, they make cakes and or icing smiles, I believe it's called. And they make them an elaborate cake for free. And they, they deliver it to your house. And it was like really sweet. It was during COVID, so we weren't able to see anyone. Actually, we were in isolation before COVID even happened. So our COVID was a little bit longer than everybody else's and a little bit worse. But I mean, not to say that no one, everyone had it bad, but I'm saying like with all the medications and stuff, it made it worse. But
we won't get into mine. So
oh, see what
I'm
I mean?
right there
like
with you.
it was awful. So, and that's just being healthy. COVID was awful. So being sick, you can only imagine. I apologize. There's lots of activity going on here, but so we had the cake for his birthday, and it was the Share the Love theme, and which is Share the Love is one of his favorite YouTubers is his name is Stephen Sharer. And so I said, I like for my kids to pick whatever theme that they want for their birthday. And I try to, I'm like an event coordinator. I like to just, do it all out. And so he wanted to meet for his Make-A-Wish, Stephen Sharer, which was his favorite YouTuber. So he got, and of course it was during COVID, so he didn't get to meet him in person. He still wants to meet him in person, but he got to have a Zoom meeting with him for about half an hour, and he got to do ice cream sundaes, and actually my girls were involved too, and it was really nice. So he was just so excited to meet him, and he got his wish. So it was awesome.
Oh, that is fantastic. I love that. Absolutely love that. So you are an author, and would you please share what you've done as far as that goes, and share the amazing book that you wrote?
I'd love to. Thank you. So I want to give you a little backstory of why I wrote this book. I was never an author before, and I've never had this writing ability. So I never thought I did anyway. And so I thought, well, what am I gonna, why am I writing at all? But anyway, when he was first diagnosed, the family therapist came and gave us like a really thick book to read. And she said, if you have, this book might help you. And I have a business degree, but I don't like to read much. So I'm just going to be honest. And when I'm in like trauma mode, I'm not really wanting to read this thick of a book. So I thought, okay, what could I possibly do for children who are diagnosed with leukemia and their families? Like what would help them when they're initially diagnosed? Number one would be, paying all of their bills and like not making them work ever again. That would be amazing. And I plan on doing that. But number two, I'm like, okay, maybe I can, like put a book in their hand, but something simple and like just giving them hope. Okay, what does that look like? And I had no clue. But basically, if I could share with you, I wrote this book. It's called Levi Has Two Birthdays. I don't know if you could see that. Can you see that?
Turn it just a little more, not other way. There you go.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Look at that cover, everyone.
Thank you. And so there's two cakes in front. And I did that because, just to give kids hope. Levi, when he was diagnosed, or when he had his bone marrow transplant, I didn't know this, but after that day that he got his transplant, the nurses came in and brought a cake and said, saying happy birthday to him, and they consider it his second birthday. So now we get to celebrate both birthdays, December 22nd and February 11th. And, it's just like such like an amazing thing to celebrate and like just a chance at life again. And so I wanted to give other children hope. Like, okay, if Levi got two birthdays, like, shoot, let me do whatever he did, And so God willing, they don't have to have a bone marrow transplant. But if they do, they'll have 2 birthdays. So why not? So in the book, basically, I just made it really positive. And if I can share, would you like me to share one of the
Yes,
pages? Okay.
absolutely.
So here's, let me see if I could do this with I'm using my phone right now. But there's a picture of him and his sisters. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, so him and his sisters playing in my living room. And do you want me to read it? Like, just
Go ahead.
okay, so I just put Levi and his parents were able to go home so he could see his sisters and get some rest. And that was good with Levi because he loved playing with them the best. And so what my whole point was to get across that, not all children with leukemia or other cancers have to stay in the hospital. In fact, the doctor let us go after a week and said, the kids heal better at home. So go home, get some rest, and play as much as you can. And, just like, just rest up and just do what you got to do. Then we'll see you back in the clinic, during the week. So, but it was really nice because this is your home. This is your comfortable place, and so that I wanted to make sure that they know, hey, I'm going to get to go home. Even the kids who, have to be in there for months at a time, they still get to go home for a couple weeks, they get a little break. But so I wanted to make it positive so that the parents, even like if the kids can't read, the parents are reading it to them. They're like, oh, hey, he did get to go home. And how come this little boy got to go home? And so, that's what I wanted to portray.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Absolutely wonderful. And there's also something else that you do to with the book. Can you please share about that?
Oh, yes, of course. So, like I said, I wanted to pay their bills and all of that. But, the last thing you want to do is have to worry about paying for anything. And, parking alone was like $150 just to get my car out of the garage. So after a week or so. So, you don't want to pay for anything. And I thought, well, how could I get these books into their hands? And so what I'm doing is for every book that's purchased, and you can purchase it through Amazon, a free book is given to a child with leukemia so that they don't have to worry about paying for it. And they get to go home with like a little, hey, let me read this fun little book and see how Levi got through it. And I could do it too, and just give them help.
That is so awesome.
Thank you.
I love that. Absolutely love that. And,
thank you.
One of the things that I'm seeing is your incredible positive attitude. I mean, that is so great. And for me, positive attitude has carried me through my journey. It's something that I rely on every single day. And so if you could share what positive attitude has meant through your journey with Levi.
For sure. To be honest, it's just without positivity and faith in God, I don't think I could get through it because it's really like a debilitating thing to go through. Like I said, not only for yourself, but when you have a child that's going through this, then you have other children and other circumstances that no one knows about, or, you're having to deal with a lot of things. It's really depressing and it's hard to get through. So if I didn't have a positive outlook on everything in my life, starting at a young age, I wouldn't be who I am. And I probably wouldn't have, gotten this far. So I always, try to look at the positive instead of the negative of everything. Like when I'm in a difficult circumstance or situation, I just think, okay, like, what is this? God is allowing this for a reason. And what is this going to teach me? Or what do I need to do because of it? And I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but before Levi was diagnosed, I was actually in the process of opening up a maternity home in my town because we don't have any. So I wanted to help young teen moms. And so, but then Levi was diagnosed. So everything came to a halt. And I thought, like, I worked so hard for this. And, like, I was so bummed out that I couldn't, fulfill my, like, I thought was my purpose. And I thought, you know what? God's changing my purpose and that's okay. I'm just here for him.
He had a more important thing for you to do. is what it is.
For sure.
I mean, there's
Definitely.
nothing more important than taking care of our kids and
Yes.
and helping to raise them and keeping them safe and keeping them happy. So
For sure.
I truly admire you and your perseverance and your attitude. It's just so refreshing, and
Thank you.
you're a true blessing, and women and mothers all over the place can learn a lot from you, because
Thank you.
you are a true warrior. Absolutely.
Thank you.
I met you through Tim Soames showing up Perspectives on Cancer, and I saw your interview with Tim, and it just prompted me. I wanted to interview you on my channel, because you have a phenomenal story, but more importantly, you have the attitude, and you're so inspirational to others, and that's what I look for. I look for
Thank you.
people that have stories of cancer that triumph, that overcome, and have that incredible will, and that's what it takes. And so that's why I wanted you to be on my channel, is because of
Thank
that.
you.
And
Thank
you
you
also
so much.
you talked about on that live stream, you talked about living every day like it's your last. And so before we move on and close out this interview, would you like to talk about that? Living every day like it's your last day.
It truly is. And, I mentioned to you, I'm not sure if I mentioned to Tim, but I've lost a lot of people in my family, and, I have a Mexican background. And so I have a lot of family members, and several of them died from cancer. And I also lost my cousin, and, that just makes you realize life is short, and, almost losing my son, and just other situations, that come up. It's just really scary. And, we can all die in a car crash, or, like, there's so many ways to die that, it's just, if we don't take advantage of every day and live as if it's our last breath, then we're not truly living. And so I just, remind whoever I'm around, like, hey, this could be our last minute. Let's go have a good time. Let's go to that restaurant. Let's go, like, I love restaurants with a beautiful view. And so, I'm just like, you know what? We're not promised tomorrow. Let's go to that nice fancy restaurant, or, it doesn't even have to be fancy. Let's try something new, like, let's just take advantage of what we have in front of us. And, there's always going to be bad. But let's look at the good in that day and the good in that moment.
Awesome. I love that. Would you like to share any websites or information with our audience where they can find you?
Yes, I would love to. Thank you. So, along with the book, I'm also, I started a group on Facebook for moms. So I named it Leukemia Mamas. And basically, if you have a child with leukemia, I welcome you to join our group. And there's, there's like 325 right now, and we're growing. And I love all of the help that all these mamas give each other. And I don't have all the answers, because my journey is different than everyone else's, but there's sure to be a mama that can share her journey and share some tips for you. Or we're also going to be uploading, I had another interview that was giving tips to moms, and so I'm going to be uploading that soon. And also, sorry, you can find me on onetoughmama.com, and that's the number one, then onetoughmama spelt out .com, and on Instagram and Facebook. So yeah, you can message me anytime, LinkedIn as well, or Suzanna Webb. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Susanna. Any final thoughts?
I just like to mention that, when you're going through a tough time, that just remember that this too shall pass is just what I like to leave with, because remembering that no matter how difficult that moment is, in the next minute, in the next week, in the next month, in the next year, you know, my son's healed now, and I thank God and I pray to God that he stays that way. But you know, looking back, it was like, oh my gosh, am I ever going to get there? You know, where is the finish line, and is he going to live? And it's like, okay, instead of thinking that way, just remember that this will pass, and there will be better days ahead. And also, hey, let's just look at the positive today. What can we do today? Let's do an activity. Let's do something fun, and let's look in the positive today. So yeah, that's it.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much, Susanna.
Thank you, Mark.
We were talking before the interview started. We were talking for a long time, and we realized that we better get the interview started before tomorrow hits. But anyway, thank you from the bottom of my heart so much. It was just so great hearing Levi's story, and we want to bring you back sometime down the road to hear about updates and things like that. But thank you once again, Susanna.
Awesome.
And at this time, I'd like to thank everyone who watched this video and who comes to the channel. Please subscribe, like, make a comment in the comment section. Click the notifications to be notified about To Be Your Own Hero, and get all, I upload videos every single Tuesday, and I am so excited. I just loved it, absolutely loved it. You know, we're living in a world today that is just so crazy, and there's just so much going on with, you know, gas prices and food prices and all these different things. And you know, we have to kind of step away and look back and count our blessings, and appreciate what is really important, and that's the people in our lives and the people around us, our family, our friends. And so I want to just thank you so much for your time and for sharing this incredible story about your son Levi. And you know, also to everyone out there, take advantage of every single day. Appreciate your health, because really your health is everything. Because if you don't have it, take my word for it, it changes your life completely. So appreciate your health, appreciate your life, take advantage of every single day, every single hour, every single minute, and every single breath. Thank you so much.
Thank
and
you,
we will
Mark.
see you next time. Thank you, Susanna. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.